Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Castle Building and Remodeling's first virtual educational series of the year. Today, we're going to be doing our Windows Replacement 101. With us today, we have Brent. He is our small projects manager, and we have Dale Loeffler from Marvin. Hi, guys. Welcome.
Morning. Morning.
Good morning. So, again, my name is Hannah. I am the marketing manager here at Castle, and I will be the moderator for today's class. Dale and Brent are going to walk us through a few different things today concerning window replacement projects. So I hope you guys are ready. Let's go ahead and move over. Dale, let's talk a little bit about our partnership between Castle and Marvin. I know Castle has been around for about 44 years now, starting with our original owner, Marty Sherber. We opened the business back in 1977, and we've been working with Marvin pretty much since day one. How have you seen that partnership grow since then?
Yeah, thank you, Hannah. It's been a great partnership. Just a lot like Castle, there's a lot of history with Marvin as well. We're an over 100-year-old business. We're on the fourth generation of ownership within our company that are active owners and running the business. So just like Marty and Lauren Sherber, we have active owners in the business, and it really makes a big difference with the employees and consumers and going to market with your product.
I would agree. I think the family-owned business, it goes a long way, wouldn't you say?
Yes, yeah, it certainly does. It certainly does. And then, more recently, we've Marvin has partnered with Castle and introduced our program to them called Authorized Replacement Contractor.
Yeah.
So basically, it's a certification that Marvin shares with Castle because they're a very experienced contractor out there, and we have partnered with them recently on that new designation for Castle.
And we are so excited for that. I know it's kind of been the highlight of our 2021 year so far. So we're excited to see that partnership grow.
Yeah, if I could chime in on that too, I always tell the customers that the strength of Castle is in our team. It isn't just me that comes over there to solve your problem. I have the swagger of, a group of highly skilled professionals, the tile guys, and then our trade partners. We have good plumbers and electricians we work with, and to have a vendor relationship like this go to the next level, it really gives you the confidence to be able to walk into somebody's house and know that Dale has our back, that Marvin has our back, and that we can confidently sell this product and maintain the Castle bar where it is. We try to keep the bar high on the work that we do. So yeah, this is exciting.
It is exciting. Dale, I was hoping before we get into the nitty gritty that you'd walk us through the anatomy of a window.
Sure, I would love to do that, Hannah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a sample here behind me in my office here. Basically, this is a very typical double hung window that you would see all over Minneapolis and St. Paul. This is our Marvin Elevate line. It has a natural wood interior with a fiberglass exterior. Very easy to operate. Has tilt latches here on the side, so very easy to swing in for cleaning. The top sash does the same thing. You just lower it. It's got tilt latches for swinging in and cleaning. Very easy for the consumer to operate, to clean. Energy efficiency is there. It's a very, very good quality window, very well designed window. So just getting into more of the needs. So why would you maybe need to replace your windows in your 100-year-old home or your 80-year-old home, or maybe it's a 30-year-old home? You have double hung windows like this that don't stay up. Maybe you lower you raise that bottom sash and it just falls down. The mechanisms don't hold that window open any longer. Possibly they're painted shut. They're that old that paint is sticking to them and you can't even open them at all. More common would be a cold, drafty window. A lot of 100-year-old windows were made with single pane glass, and today everything would be made with a dual pane glass, which is a much better insulating value. So not only can you get better insulation out of a dual pane glass, but even the weather strip around the the operating mechanisms of the window, it's just going to be a much tighter sealing product. And with the weather we've had the last 2 weeks here in Minneapolis, you would notice a big difference, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Dale, would you mind talking a little bit about the Marvin portfolio?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So I guess the biggest word that I'll use with our product line is options. We have a lot of options from Marvin. So we have basically three different collections within the Marvin portfolio. The signature collection, which would have the most options. We have 19 exterior colors. We have 6 different interior wood species. This is the line that's going to give you the most historical look. So maybe you have a home from the 19 or 1890s, and you really want to keep that natural historic look to that home. Marvin is the brand for that. We specialize in that type of thing. The Elevate line would be another option. That's the one right behind me here in my office. That one is maybe a few less options. It's a fiberglass exterior with a wood interior, but that wood interior still gives you the warmth and beauty of wood to the inside of the home. Very good value, very good price point on the Elevate line. And then finally, the Essential collection. That collection is made out of all fiberglass. So if you'd like to maintain a more of a maintenance-free interior as well, we have a solution for that. The fiberglass product is 8 times stronger than vinyl. Very strong, very durable material, and again, low maintenance to the interior.
Wonderful. Brent, I'm hoping as we move over into our main presentation, we've discussed the anatomy of a window. We talked about our common types of window replacement projects. What projects are you seeing that are very common right here in the Twin Cities?
Well, it's all of that. The houses that we work on in Minneapolis, for the best of my recollection, most of them date as far back as 1910, and some of them go to the 40s and 50s, and then there's newer ones as well. So it's exactly what Dale said. The main thing is that they're old and they're drafty. The old weights between the single pane windows, wood windows from back in the day, that's just a big cavern of where air can come through. And then it's really the conversation between functionality and, if it's a signature property, more of a showpiece that you want to try to keep that look and still get the benefits of modern technology.
Wonderful. We do have some questions rolling in. So before we get to those, I was hoping that you would talk about, just real quickly, some projects that Castle handles. And then we'll get into the nitty gritty of an actual window replacement project. Yeah,
well, recently I visited a house. It's a signature property over on Lake of the Isles, and they had a nice sunroom that was overlooking the lake, and it was built in, I think, the 1930s, and they had what are called piano windows where they, and there was 17 of them. So that was one where we're actually still talking about trying to figure out, and we've gone to the Marvin signature line for those, trying to come up with a solution. They didn't really want they wanted them to look like piano windows, but we're really going to maybe use casement windows that are with grids so that's one. And then we have a kitchen that's been remodeled before the people bought the house. And I apologize, something turned on here, but but there's no light in one side of the room. So in this case, we're going to physically make the space considerably larger, and we're going to put a big picture window in that one. And then I'm seeing myself several sliding patio doors that we're looking at replacing because they've gotten older. They were not very good to start with. And those are in some of the newer homes. A lot of the older homes don't have sliding glass doors.
Okay.
Brent, that's a good point. I'll just interject. We've been seeing a lot of homes that want more daylight inside the home.
Mm-hmm.
We've actually done recent studies at Marvin and determined that the average homeowner spends about 90% of their time indoors. So how do you make that indoor experience better? And it's with larger windows and more natural daylight. So people want to open up that wall and get a larger piece of glass in there to allow that natural daylight in.
I've done it at my house. In fact, I'm still doing it, and it's, and we'll get into that, down the road when we talk about the process here, but it's a lot of work, and there's a lot of things to think about that you might not think when you're standing there looking out your existing window that have to occur for that to be done properly. But man, when you're done, it's worth it. It really does and especially with so many of us officing from home these days, we're seeing even more and more of that, where people they're going to probably be working from home into the foreseeable future, and they're making that space so that they can be more efficient and, make their workday be more enjoyable. So.
That is very true. And I know many companies, when they're talking about window replacements, they can only handle so much. And that's one thing that's really amazing about Castle is that, as you can see, really the sky is the limit. We can handle it all. Whether you're working on your basement and you need an egress window, skylights in your attic, or a second level, bring in some of that natural light from above. Solar tubes are an excellent choice. Those glass block windows in your bathrooms for privacy, but also to let in that natural light that Dale and Brent are speaking about. It really brings it to the next level. So it's really interesting to see all of these different options and knowing that Castle really can handle it all. Speaking of that, Brent, I think we should talk a little bit about the process of what you can expect during your window replacement project. And then I'm going to bring some questions for you guys to answer.
Okay, good. Well, it starts with getting a hold of us. That sounds simple enough. And thanks to Hannah and the people that she's working with in our marketing department, our webpage is very user friendly. So you can fill out the form online. We always get the information out of you that we need to be able to do a good job. I mean, that's my job. But the more information, I can tell you, I looked at some new contacts yesterday that I was reaching out to, and man, they already had everything drawn up. They knew what they wanted for their space. They had a realistic idea of what the budget was. And the more information that you can give to us coming out of the gate, the easier it is. Again, we'll get the information out of you. And if you don't know, that's okay. We want to make sure that everybody has the same access to our services. So, if you're not really good with computers or you're not really good with your camera and sending pictures and stuff, that's okay. But when you can, that's good. So then, we get that and we schedule an initial consultation. And by now, we're kind of going with the 50-foot view on that. We find out how many windows that you need. With these houses ranging anywhere between 60 to 120 years old. Some of them are signature properties, and you couldn't imagine doing anything but trying to keep it the same as much as possible. Some of these properties are still good houses, but along the way, people have made different decisions to where your choices are based more on functionality and affordability, and that's great too. So then, once we get that far into it, I can usually get an initial proposal for some jobs. Some jobs we need to, visit the property, and we're all trying to be safe. So we have a Canvas app that we can use for people to measure their own bathrooms. It's really as interactive as you want to be, and we can get a lot done before we actually visit your property. But then once we have an initial budget estimate and we kind of know what direction we're heading, it is always at some point important for us to visit you and look and touch. I mean, there's things that I can see by pulling a piece of trim back or looking at the window from both sides that I can't see in pictures and you don't know to look for. So, again, it's important to mention that most of us, the designers and myself, we office from our homes now, and we mask and sanitize everywhere that we go. And also when we're in your house, if it's a small room, I get you to step out of the room, and we maintain that 6-foot distance, even with the protective measures that we're taking. So, so then we get that, and for Castle, what we do is we go into at that point, we go into a design and planning agreement. And that's a small percentage of what we believe your overall job scope to be dollar-wise. And it kind of gets everybody engaged. We collect that fee, and then now we're down to the 10-foot view. And we go from the 10-foot view to the 10-inch view during that process. And we do all your selections. You can come to the showroom. I'm in our Longfellow showroom in South Minneapolis now, which is where the windows and small projects, we have a brand new room that they're building for us right now with decking choices, and we've got some windows here for people to look at. Come to the showroom, talk about the things that we're going to select for your house, and we get your final pricing together. And then once we do that, we sign a contract and we get a down payment. We order your stuff and get you on the schedule. So that's kind of the nickel tour there of how it goes with Castle.
Thank you, Brent. I know that it can be really helpful to know what they're getting into before they even get into it. So it's nice to have kind of an idea of what happens. We do have one question. I'm gonna pause us real quick, and we're gonna answer this. One of our viewers wants to know, when the window is replaced, does the inside trim need to be retrofitted also? And what about the outside trim? So Dale and Brent, maybe you could take a minute to answer that as we get ready for the next portion.
Yes and yes. There's inserts, and we'll let Dale talk more about those. And sometimes an insert is the thing. The frame's already there, the trim's like it needs to be, and we just need to replace those sashes, and that's possible. But when we're doing a full window replacement, yeah, both sides are affected and both sides have to be put back together, and that's what we talk about. When I say we're getting down to the 10-foot view, what are we gonna do to match the stain on the 60-year-old trim or something like that?
Yeah, that's a very good point. I'll just add a little bit to that. So you get into a home built in 1905, and it's going to have probably a 8-inch wide, very decorative oak interior trim that if you try to peel it off, you're probably going to break it or it'll splinter or crack, and very difficult to replace that interior trim. Maybe the outside of the home is stucco. Stucco is a little bit more tricky to deal with, although, you can replace windows in stucco. But in that application, an insert window, it's basically a frame inside of the existing frame of the window is a great application. And Castle can install that window without disrupting the interior trim at all or the exterior stucco.
We have, it's a line item in our estimator, and based on what we find out on the site visit, we do have, a line item for removing and reinstalling your trim. And we also have a disclaimer that while we are going to try to do this, we can never, ever, ever guarantee what some guy did, 50 years ago to get that trim to stay where it's been staying. For the most part, trim is put on so that it's easier to get back off than, say you're framing or something like that to take apart. But so that can happen too. And and that's one of the best things that can happen when we can remove and reinstall your existing trim and then touch it up when we're done.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Why don't we move over? We're going to talk about how to select the right window for your project. Dale, why don't you talk a little bit about the options that Marvin has to offer first?
Sure, absolutely. So, we'll just take a little bit of a deeper dive into our 3 collections. So the Signature Collection, really that one is the largest portfolio of options that Marvin has. We have 19 exterior colors and, even a custom color option. So if you have a large home and you can't select one of those 19 colors that we offer, we can certainly do a custom color for you as well. In addition, that paint is actually a commercial grade paint. If you buy a Marvin window, that Signature line is going to come standard with a commercial grade paint. What that means is no fading. It's the same type of exterior paint that you're going to see on a 40-story building in downtown Minneapolis. They're typically a dark bronze color, and you're never going to want to have to paint that window. If you buy a Marvin window, you're going to get that paint as a standard. We back that up with a 20-year fade warranty. So to the interior, 6 different wood species. We have 6 different stain options for factory interior finishing. We have painting options. We have clear coat options. Probably about 8 different finish hardware finish options as well. So there's a ton of options with the Signature Collection. As you move to the right from Signature to Elevate to Essential, the options get a little bit more limited, but there's still a lot you can do with the Elevate window, which is again right behind me. You talk about grills. You can get a grill that we call simulated divided light. So it looks like a true, authentic divided light grill. The one behind me is actually a grill between the glass, but we have different grill types and sizes and that type of thing. So again, we want to be able to match that historical look of your older home. And then finally on the Essential line, again, more limited options, but 6 different exterior colors, 3 different interior color options. I think with any of the 3 collections from Marvin, you will be able to find what you need.
And Dale, I do know that in our warehouse, we are able to take some of that and try to stain match what the homeowners have already in their home. So what would we receive or what would we be ordering in order to accomplish something like that?
Sure, great question, Hannah.
Yeah.
So a vast majority of our production that we sell actually comes just bare interior to Castle. So it's just raw, unfinished pine. And Castle has a great facility there in Minneapolis where they can bring the windows right in their controlled warehouse and do a custom stain match to match the homeowner's interior finish decor.
You know, it's not just the facility, Dale. I happen to know firsthand because I watch them do it when I'm in the office all the time. I talk about the strength of Castle being on our team. We have a couple of guys that are savants with the stain matching process, and I wouldn't even be able to tell you all the tricks that they use, but yeah, it's not uncommon to walk by and see Adam or Leo out there with a blow dryer and some different samples of things, and they're trying different things. And we really pride ourselves in our finishing. And I just want to shout out to the guys that do it because they're artists is what they are, you know.
Very good.
They are. We do have a few more questions coming in. We're going to quick answer Brian's question. He wants to know, what is the Marvin window option for the basement foundation windows that are not egress? Looking at the website, it looks like picture windows are the closest, but are those the ones that you would recommend?
Sure. Great question, Brian. So, you know, a typical full basement in concrete block, you know, the way the homes were built years ago, they just have a little tiny window that is going to be too small for egress. But so correct me if I'm wrong, Brent, you're probably going to have to do some remodeling to open up that concrete wall and make that space larger so that you could put in say a casement style window, you know, to meet egress for a bedroom in a lower level.
Yep. Yeah, you have to cut that out to create the opening that you need. It's not probably as scary as you think, but it's, yeah, a lot of times we see the ones that slide side to side are the smaller replacements that I've seen a lot of, or some people don't need them to open at all, you know, and then you can do glass block or, you know, smaller version of a picture window. And sometimes then they just swing in to open.
Yeah, that's a good point. We actually do make it's kind of like an in-swing casement window. We call it a magnum tilt turn. Mm-hmm. And it works very well for a lower level egress application. Maybe you can't go real deep with your window well to the outside, or you're concerned about this time of year that filling up with snow, so you're not able to crank out that, you know, that exterior casement style window. So we have a solution for you to swing that glass or that sash to the interior of the basement so that you can easily, you know, get out in the case of a fire or something.
So the answer to your question, Brian, is this is the one that's going to be the best for you. There's options there, and it's, you know, there's security concerns, fresh air concerns, and how much light do you want to let in, you know, and then we can find something that works.
So Brian has a follow-up to that. He's hoping to not do any actual remodeling, just replace the windows.
Okay.
Is what you're describing, will that serve those needs?
Yeah. I mean, most windows are cut to a size that we can find one to fit. Yeah.
Or you know, we do custom size. I mean, we've got a long history of replacement window market, and we've been doing custom size windows for 40 years. So whether you want ventilation or not, Brian, that's really up to you if it operates or if it's stationary. But we can provide a window to fit that space or that opening very easily.
Perfect. Brian says, thank you. That was a really great question, Brian. So thank you for starting that conversation for us. We have a couple more questions that we're going to jump to in just a minute, but let's go ahead. Brent, would you mind talking a little bit more about our pricing options? And then we do have some pricing specific questions that we'll get into.
Okay. We do have great examples on the webpage
Yes.
of a lot of different jobs, and that includes windows. And as we get our sea legs, as they say, with this relationship with Marvin, I'm sure that we're going to be doing more and more to have that. So it really, Dale talked about the Essential, the Elevate, and the Signature line of windows. So, when we're working with your budget and your style choices, it's those two things that we're trying to work with. To put a window in is the same as if it's a signature window or it's an essential window. So the labor around that is pretty common, and that's where these estimates on the webpage can, really help you.
So talking about prices, we do have a question. A. Hansen 1 wants to know, some window vendors that they've spoken with previously give volume discounts. Does the size of the project affect the pricing with Castle, or can a phased approach be done without affecting the cost?
Yeah. So with Castle, we haven't to this point gotten into where, like the ads you see on TV. We're not those guys. We're every conversation that we have is singular to you. So I don't have anything that I can flash up with a bold thing that talks about volume discounts right now. What I can tell you though is phasing things is very common and it's very doable. There are a few minor costs associated with opening and closing a job that we can't get away from, but what we try to do, let's just say it's $100 project and you have $33 now, $33 in a year and $33 in another year. What we do is we sit down and we try to find out the best way to utilize the $33 each time, or if it just doesn't make sense and you really need $40 instead of $33, then we can work with you on that as well. I don't know if that's the best answer to that question, but that's the one I came up with quick.
That's a great answer, Brent. And I do know Castle is offering 0% financing for 12 months. So if that sounds like something that might be a good fit for your budget, go ahead and reach out, go on our website and fill out that project request form to get a little more nitty-gritty information about that.
We have another tool that we've used. It's fairly new to us, but it's actually worked out really well in a few situations. And basically, what it boils down to is it's money that you can get right from us at 7%. So, if the project is $100 and all you got is $80, what we would do is, and I think the way that it's structured is that it could be up to 50% of your bill or a maximum of $25,000. So if it's a $100 project and you've only got $80, we would rather go ahead and loan you that money so that you can get it done right rather than you have to cut corners on your project. And I know it's really helped out in a few situations since we initiated it. And that's another tool that we have.
Yeah. And again, every situation is different. Like Brent said, we work individually with each homeowner to make sure we're getting the right price, the right project, the right job done. So definitely reach out and ask. We'll get you on the schedule to talk more details so we can get you the fully correct answer and pricing concerning your project. I want to move on and talk a little bit about windows, selecting your windows, whether it's vinyl versus wood. Dale and Brent, I'm hoping you guys have some samples we can take a look at.
I do, and I'm not a pro zoomer here. Let's see what we can do. Behind me, I have another actually line of windows that we carry. This is a Richland window. It's all vinyl, and you can see it's got I don't know if I can get it closer. It's got a simulated wood grain. These windows are available. With Marvin, I've been excited about the fact that it's fiberglass, and we do door replacements, a lot of door replacements as well, and we've found that fiberglass is very, very stable. It doesn't expand and contract with we have 4 seasons in Minnesota, so now this one is a Marvin Elevate window. This has the grids in it like we talked about, and it's got a wood interior. This particular interior is painted black, but this is the kind of thing that we could stain to match your trim here. So I don't have a good cutaway of the vinyl, but this is the fiberglass here. I'm sure you can't tell on the screen. Also, I have 2 of these. Dale, I know the grids, there's 2 different kinds of grids on these 2 windows. You want to just talk about that for a second?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, thank you, Brent. So the black one there has what we call our simulated divided light. So that's a true fiberglass bar on the exterior that's applied to the glass with a 3M high pressure tape. So when we apply that fiberglass bar, it's we use 70 pounds on a roller press, so it's on there permanently. Same thing with the wood piece on the interior, and then you can see between the glass there, we have a spacer bar that goes between those 2, exterior and interior bars. So it looks like an authentic or like a true divided light. And then the one he has that he just set.
Sorry.
One up if you could. Yeah, can you see that, everyone?
Yeah.
So that really has 3 bars. It's got an internal bar, the exterior fiberglass bar, and the interior wood bar. That's your real historical home, type of looking grill. And then the other one, the white one, is the same thing without that spacer bar. So if you want to save a few bucks, you don't really care about that spacer between the grills, that is an option as well.
We should have done some choreography on that, I think.
Thank you, Brett.
That was great. Thank you, guys. So I'm going to grab one more question from the audience, and then if you guys have any other last-minute details you want to throw out to the audience about a window replacement project. Mike is wondering, they're interested in 2 third-floor windows and a storm door. Brent, do you think that job is too small for Castle?
No. They call it the small projects division. It's funny because some of our small projects get really, really big, but also, on the same week, I could turn in a job that, we're putting handrails, an aging mother's trying to stay at home and the family's helping her. And so we're going in there with a bunch of handrails next week. It's a small job. Our absolute minimum is 4 hours of, a half a day basically of labor. But the job that you're speaking of is, that's really the bread and butter of the small projects department. A lot of doors and windows. So yeah, you're in.
Perfect. Did you hear that, Mike? You're in. Just go ahead and give Brent a call. Wonderful. So guys, we've covered a lot of information, and if you could sum up a Windows replacement project in just a couple sentences, Brent, what would you tell an inquiring homeowner?
Well, you're going to live there, and you want it to be the home that you want it to be. And so it's a lot to think about. But I tell you what, every investment I've made in my own house with doors and windows, I have a 100-year-old house, and doors and windows are something I'm constantly doing. It's always worth it. The other thing that I really love, Lauren, on our webpage, there's a video that he did sometime back on the HGTV effect. It is work. It is work to take all that stuff apart and put it back together. So I always like to tell people to be ready for that. We do a great job of mitigating the discomfort, as it were. But there's the old no pain, no gain thing. We've got to work on your house to make it better. So always be ready for that too.
Yes. And I will say Castle is able to do those small projects, any window replacement any time of the year. Brent says, we prepare for things, and we do. We have many different resources. So whether it's, a chilly February in Minneapolis or that sweet June that we're currently dreaming of, we can certainly handle it. It's really no problem. Dale, I do have one more question from the audience specifically for you. Brad wants to know, does Marvin have a casement window that looks like a double hung window from the exterior?
Brad, that is a great question. That was actually part of my presentation, but we didn't quite get to that. So one of the images that Hannah had up on the slideshow earlier showed a typical Minneapolis or St. Paul home where you've got that upper level where the roof line is kind of part of the walls, and you just have one window on either end of the space. And you want to turn that into a bedroom. Maybe it was just storage or attic storage in the past. So the answer to your question is yes, we can make a casement window look exactly like a double hung. We do that by on the signature line, we can actually increase the height of the bottom rail of the casement or the crank out style window. We can make it taller so it looks like a double hung. And then we also put a wide bar right across the center. We call it the check rail. So it's a simulated divided light, like that example that we showed you, that goes horizontally right through the center. And then you can actually put some, grills above it on the top sash if you want. But other than having no exterior screen on that casement window from the street, it looks just like a double hung. And then it's going to meet your egress code for having the fire escape for a bedroom.
We actually did one recently where that needed to be an egress, and it was a signature property, and we went to the signature line for that. We had to do quite a bit to get it, but we did that. We actually made an egress window look like a double hung window to match the rest of the house.
That's amazing. Brad, thank you for that awesome question. Dale and Brent, I'm going to go ahead and let you have the floor for the next, 5-6 minutes. And anything else that you feel that a homeowner should know about their window replacement, now's a great time to cover that.
I have a question for Dale. We've experienced, the COVID effect for home remodeling has really been just a tremendous, request for services. And along the way, somewhere about last September, because people didn't work in the factories for a while and stuff, we started experiencing, and lumber has gotten harder to get, and it's a little more expensive right now. But with your products, how are you guys doing? What's our lead time? If I order a window today, when can I get that window?
Sure, great question, Brent. We're very busy at Marvin. We're very blessed that we have that we basically work in an essential industry, and our year in 2020 was very strong. We had a good year. Um, we we have had our lead times go out. Basically, right now our lead times are about double what they normally are, but they're still controllable for a typical replacement contractor like Castle. So our signature line is right around that 8 to 10 week range, from when the windows are ordered to when they're delivered. And the Essential and Elevate line are closer to that 4 to 5 week range. So yeah, they are extended lead times. Our business is strong, but normally most contractors can live within those parameters because you're probably booked out a couple of months for 2 to 3 months for your labor portion, right, Brent?
Yep, our framing has been out 8 weeks. Jobs that don't need framing, we've actually done some hiring over the winter, and we've been doing pretty good. And that's what the small projects department actually does is we have these smaller jobs. And so oftentimes if I know somebody needs a window and I've got the window, all of a sudden we look at the schedule. Our scheduler looks at a day and sees a couple days in the next week where they can fit them in, and the guys will go to that job in between some of the bigger jobs. So some of the small projects and the window stuff, 4 to 6 weeks is pretty average, and it really takes that long to get it right. Also, the process between when we decide that we're going to work together and getting you the final pricing and stuff, that takes a few weeks too. So if we know what windows we're going to order and we order them, we can be waiting on the windows while we're making our final decisions and getting our planning together. So yeah, 4 to 8 weeks for us, provided we have the things that we need,
Great. I just kind of wanted to make a closing comment too, just kind of in general, we talked a lot about, windows and window options and needs of particular homeowners, but I guess the one thing that I always talk about is, you're replacing part of your exterior wall on your home. So, don't cut corners. Don't buy $100 low end window. Spend a little bit of money, get something that's going to perform, get something that's going to keep you warm on the weather that we had last week here in Minneapolis. Get something that performs well and that you're going to be happy with for the next 40 years or however long you're going to live in that home. So it's just that exterior envelope of a home is not where you want to cut corners. So get a good quality window, hire a good quality contractor like Castle, and you're going to be happy.
Thank you, Dale. I would agree. It's all about the quality over quantity. Am I right?
Yep.
Yeah, we have a guy that he started doing business with Marty in the early 80s. And I looked in his folder. He called us because he had replaced one side of his upstairs of his house with Marvin windows in 2013. And he called us up to replace the other side. Along the way, there was another Marvin window that we had installed at some point down the road, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and it had gotten cracked somehow. And we were at a sales training a couple of weeks ago, and I brought it up, and Dale said, I can warranty that sash. Let's get him a new sash. And so, yeah, we've got a lot of customers that have done exactly what Dale just said, and that is, let's get it. Our slug line is that we want to be the best value in home remodeling. It doesn't always mean that we're the least expensive, but what it means is that when we come there, we're going to do it right. We're going to guarantee our workmanship for life. When we tell you that this is the final price, that's what we mean. And when we say we're going to be in your house for 15 days to do that job, we're there in 15, we're out of there in 15 days, or we actually pay you. So we guarantee that work. And again, as I said at the beginning, having a partner like Marvin in our toolbox, really, really helps us step up our game. So that's what you get when you get your house fixed with Castle.
Do you guys think we have time for one more question before we wrap it up?
I do.
Sure.
Great. Okay. So Susan would like to know, the previous homeowner did windows over 20 years ago, and when it rains through the screen, the water does not seem to drain well, causing issues. What would you tell her that we could do to remedy that situation?
So it sounds like the rain might be just kind of building up on the interior side of the screen, but it's still on the outside of the window. The only thing I could come up with, it would be to add a little something underneath that screen. Normally screens are in there not super tight. You probably have a little bit of wiggle room there, if you will, but just get something to kind of raise that screen on the bottom. You just need maybe a 1/16 of an inch to get it off the sill. The screen is probably tight on the windowsill and not allowing the water to drain. See if that might work and remedy the situation.
A penny or a nickel, anything.
Yeah.
Brad follows that up with a comment of, it's another Marty Sherber. I never met a home that I couldn't fix.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Marty's got a lot of great sayings.
He does. Thanks, Brad. That is perfect. So I just want to take a minute to thank everybody who stuck with us and attended our first educational class of the year, Windows Replacement 101. You can keep those questions coming, and we'll do our best to answer them through our newsletter. So if you're not signed up for that, head to our website and we'll make sure to get you added to the list. We send lots of great tips and tricks every month. This event was recorded, so it will be accessible via our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and again, our website and newsletter. So if you had to step away or, you just want to keep reliving this moment over and over, we'll be here. Thank you, Dale, for joining us this morning from Marvin. We are so excited about our continued partnership. We're so thankful to have you to share your wealth of knowledge about Windows. Brent, thank you for being here with me today to talk about our small projects and to keep the conversation flowing with Dale. You guys provided a ton of great information. And we generally appreciate everyone again to come, and we hope to see you in future events. Thank you, everybody.
Have a great day.
Thank you.